it, man. Yeah, I was like, I don't, I'm trying to think, like, where was my, it was my mom's astrologer lady. She gave me this Yogananda book, who had that self-realization fellowship in Pacific Palisades. I don't know if you knew about that. And then there was like East Hollywood Temple.
Okay.
But anyways, it was like, that was when I decided to finally move to California, did a silent retreat at one of the retreat centers, and they had one in Encinitas at the time. They don't have it anymore. And I did this first silent retreat there, and I was like, I'm supposed to live here, and I had some family here. I had an aunt in LA, but it was like, I just knew it was, and my brother had already moved out here in the 80s, so he was already here.
He was already, rocking.
But it was like one of those moments where I knew, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to live now, because the band was dissolving, and we were just, but yeah, I mean, in regards to missing high school graduation, I was stoked, dude. I was a kid, and here's Chuck, this like older brother dude. It was just like,
how do you guys meet? Because I know, because you and Sean when you were 12, you're getting shipped up and down to decimal capitals of the country. And how did you even meet Chuck?
Because I was in the tape trading scene. Back then, everyone was like doing snail mail.
Oh yeah, that's you.
And we would all like send each other tapes of bands that we were hip to, and Chuck and I were sharing tapes. And I was like, he was sending me some sick shit, and I sent him some sick shit, and I was like, you got fucking, and then he sent me one of the demos, or actually somebody, I knew about him, and then one of my homies, because we used to get people's phone numbers back then, right? I remember I got everyone in Slayer's phone number, and I called fucking all of them. I called Tom, Carrie, and Lombardo. I was like fucking 13, I'm playing cryonics and shit, I remember and I remember Tom was the only one that was nice to me. He was like, he was so cool. He was like the dad, Tom's so sweet.
Wow, that's the remark I keep hearing. Tom is really nice.
He was so cool, dude.
Wow.
He literally was like, I was like, I'm learning your songs. And he was like, yeah, what can you play? I was like, well, I can do cryonics. And he was like, fucking, you can play it for me, man. And I like literally put the phone up to my PD Bandit in the bedroom, and you just play it. I fucking played it. He was like, pretty good, kid.
What was the riff hard, or what was like the main riff?
That was the instrumental on fucking Show No Mercy. I'm trying to remember that shit right now. Now you got me stumped, because that was a sick song. You don't remember that shit? That was the first Slayer record, Cryonics, man. I should have let it go. That song is sick. It was an instrumental of Show No Mercy, and it was just them kind of them being a little more techy and shit,
Maybe we could jam a few seconds of it.
Yeah.
I just want to hear this intro.
Very old school metal right there.
That cover, dude.
I know.
The goat.
I bought that record because of the cover.
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the vocal. Oh, it is an instrumental, it's a vocal. It has great melody though, isn't it? Catchy.
Yeah. So you were playing this over the phone?
Yeah, and Tom was like fucking pretty good, kid. It was cool.
Keep practicing.
But it was, I had I think back then, obviously I had Megadeth's demo, Metallica before they got signed, and then I remember obviously Kill 'Em All and all that. But these are the early days, but Chuck, I heard the early demos, and then he had a demo called, what was it called, Infernal Death, and that's when he got signed to Combat, and it had Zombie Ritual, scale, it's like, who is this fucking,
oh yeah.
And Chuck, I was like, just his voice, he had that Becerra vibe. It was just the next level fucking insane growl, and it was just that mid-range. I love that sound, and I think my buddy, it was a buddy Steve, he's now in Portland, but back then, and he was like, I got Chuck's number, I was like, oh, kill him, give me his fucking number or whatever. So, but I called him, yeah, and he was 24 hours north in Orlando, we were down in Miami in the south, all the scene was more concentrated in the middle of the state.
I keep forgetting how farther away Orlando is from my house.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep assuming
it's far.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's halfway up the state. It's a peninsula state. It's way down, almost like California long,
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so I ended up getting the number, and instantly like, oh yeah, he was like homie. He just wanted to smoke weed and play guitar, you know. And next thing you know, we're like jamming. I would like take a road trip and go jam with them, and he'd come down to Miami, and then it was like, and he knew I could play a little bit. I always had my thing with Sean, but at some point, you know, every time he lost a guitar player, which happened 2 times before we made a record together, he's like, I need a hand. Can you? I was like, yeah, man, I'm here, you know. And I think that before that Mexico shows, I had to learn fucking like, you know, 15 songs in like 2 weeks or some shit. But I was like, I was already playing little tech, crazy, cynic shit. So all the shit was
Oh, yeah, of course. You were already in.
I was already in, yeah.
You and Sean are already practicing in the boiler room and at the homestead.
Fucking A, dude. Just going, oh yeah, going hard. Yeah, I mean, it was like rehearsing constantly. That was like all you did was just practice, you know. It was either that or like I said, go get into some trouble, you know.
Yes, only options, man.
Yeah.
Only options. I was like, hey kid, pull up the human cover.
Oh, there's a Bandit. Fucking that was it.
That was it?
Those things weighed so much. Did you remember those amps?
Oh yeah.
Fucking, they were so heavy.
A Bandit 65. If you're just listening, we're looking at a PD amp. It's like a Practica style. You were on the lead game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just on
It was like a
acid.
push-pull and shit, I think.
But the old acid game.
I don't know what made those things so fucking heavy, but I swear that amp, which was, you know, maybe like 112 or a 10, it was like 100 pounds or some shit, you know. For a kid, it was just, it had some weird magnet shit. I think it was the speakers that were super heavy.
Came out in 83. I wasn't even born yet.
Oh shit. Yeah. I always liked their logo. It was cool too.
Yeah, that is the PD logo.
It's sick. It's such a cool vibe. It's funny, now I'm seeing that when I sign my name, my P kind of is like that. More
Is it?
Yeah, it's a rounder, but it's the big P and shit.
Your brain will probably do that.
Probably.
It's like a subconscious. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's a
Jay,
sick font.
oh, it is. Jay, will get covered about that. I was curious. What memories pop up in your brain first when you see a cover?
I think of the artist because Chuck was trying to. It was the first time he stopped doing Repka. At Repka, he did all the other albums. You know, at Repka, he was like a guy in the underground scene doing covers for bands. And he was a real painter, and somehow he ended up getting all this work doing death metal band stuff.
Oh wow!
And so he did obviously, you know, the first Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy, and Spiritual Healing. Yeah, all those were Repka. And I think he actually did the book that came out on Chuck Now. David Delphi did the Chuck biography book. It's the story of death. Yeah, I almost Repka did the cover. Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, if you look up the Chuck cover, it's funny, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is like a teen novel or something cover of Chuck. There it is. Yeah, look at the cover, and it's like,
Oh wow!
this is his biography just came out with David Delphi. I'm kind of halfway through it. It's really cool. It's just getting all the stories, you know, of Chuck's life. It's
When did it come out?
like fucking in the past like month or two.
Okay, so it's recent.
Oh, it's
this
recent.
is okay. I was like, well, how have I not heard this about this book?
Yeah, it's brand new.
I see how.
So that's Repka. That's the guy that did the first 3 albums. So when I saw Human, I was like, oh, cool. He wants to. It's a departure. He wants a new vibe. And this was this guy Renee, something that was like a photographer that would fuck with the processing. That's what it is. It's like a weird picture, and he'd overlay things, and that's it. Yeah. So he ended up doing, I think, the 2 or 3 death albums after he did a voice album after Human. Individual and Symbolic, I think he did as well, but Renee. But yeah, that's Renee as well. So when it ended up kind of becoming the vibe for those following albums. But I thought it was cool that Chuck felt so refreshed with having this fresh blood with me, Sean, and Giorgio. It was like, you know, we were like the new kids, you know, fucking freshening that shit up. And he was just like, I want to do some new vibes. So it fucking went with the new art. And then he cleaned up the logo a little, which people were pissed about.
Oh yeah.
He took out the Grim Reaper and all that shit. And it was like everything was a little more refined. But yeah. But I always thought it was a sick cover. It was kind of cool that I told this story in the liner notes of one of the reaction issues of the album, which is, I think I remember the moment when we thought of the name of the title, which was because we were rehearsing in Miami, Chuck was staying at my house, and we were driving, we left rehearsal, we were driving to this area, kind of where my mom lived around Coconut Grove. It was just like restaurants and bars around there. And I think we were just going to get some food or something after rehearsal. And as we were cutting through this road, we saw lights and this like rock. And it was like an empty rock. And it was like these weird blinking lights. And I was like, yeah, those fucking lights are trying. There shouldn't be lights there. And we pulled the car over and we walk out to the scene and it was a motorcycle accident.
Oh.
And it was a dude who fucking, yeah, and we were like, it was like a woman, a young girl, and a guy. The guy was half alive, the girl was gone. I know that. And it was gnarly. It was the gnarliest, straight out of like a weird dream. It was like a nightmare scene. And then, so two of the guys, I was like, I'll stay here, go fucking, there was no cell phone, so it was like, go a payphone. So they drove into the actual little hood, the Grove. We were like a mile out from that main area. And I went and called the cops, and I stayed and just hung out with these bodies with Chuck. And I remember, I think it was that moment when Chuck had this whole like, now he knows what the album's about. It was like this kind of human, it was just really getting this clarity about the concept of the album. It was really kind of a raw moment. It was just a very pivotal, I think, symbolic moment to have right when we were rehearsing the album. I feel like all the lyrics kind of in his mind, you know, it's like, this is going to be real human. He was already going that way with those other albums, but I think it really got that clarity because it was a very intense moment, you know, for the band. It was the four of us. It was me, Steve, Sean, and Chuck. We like walked into the scene, you know.
As a band?
As a band.
Wow, it's so bizarre.
I know.
It's kind of fucking crazy.
Just to like, yeah, see, and
How was that you?
And you know, I'll tell you, it was like, not to get into the boring details, but it was a road that was curvy, and fucking, he didn't see that the road split like this, and there was this lot, and he went straight into the lot, and I guess hit a tree, and fucking, yeah, or something, and like, somebody, the girl in the back bounced off, or whatever, she was gone, and he was, I don't think he made it, but I remember actually riding my bike there the morning after just to kind of see what was going on, because obviously police came, ambulance, and I remember finding like a bracelet and like a watch and like shit that was on them, and I brought it to the police station, and that they said, oh yeah, they didn't make it, you know, neither of them made it, and I was like, wow, okay. It was the first for me encounter other than like an open casket funeral, which I didn't see as a kid, where I saw like, you know, it shocks me, you know, to do something like that, like when it's happening, there's an energy, you know, it's visceral.
You know, after that, you're a different person.
Yeah, those are those moments that change the course of your life.
Yeah, it's like, I think that, yeah, I'm different now. What is that? I'm not sure yet.
I mean, did you feel that when you lost your singer, your memory? Like, did you feel like it was somehow everything?
Of course. Everything's still different. I'm still trying to process it. I keep telling people it's like 12, 13 years still processing it. It changes with the age, and as you mature and can process your thoughts and what. Of course.
Yeah.
Everything's still different. I'm still trying to process it. I keep telling people it's like 12, 13 years still processing. It changes with the age, and as you mature and process your thoughts and emotions better, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it's still evolving.
I don't think you ever get over it. I think so. You just kind of integrate it, right? It becomes a part of you. And grief is like, it becomes your friend, and you're just like, you don't want to work with it and shit. It just doesn't go away, you know?
No, or you run away from it.
So yeah, or you catch that attitude, yeah.
It's not really good about it. It gets worse.
And yeah, I had a moment actually, I was telling a buddy of this about how I felt like once, because they both died in 2020, you know, it was that year wasn't fucking weird enough for everybody, you know? Such a weird year, but then my two homies in the same year, like at the top and bottom, gone. And I remember like telling like my friend of this, I was like, by 21 hit, and I'm like, oh, now I can really be in this. Now I could be a fucking disaster. Every drug. I was like, I had permission to just let go because I was so devastated internally. You know what I mean? I just felt like so fucking wrecked. So I was like, now, you know, and I even talked, I had these horrible weird thoughts, like talking about your mind going places. So my mind was like, is it my time to die? Maybe it's my time to die. I didn't like entertain shit. Yeah. What? But I didn't know. It was like my mind was just so disoriented by the loss and the total. You know what I mean? It goes to places, it goes to dark places, and I was like, I had to nip that shit. I joined a Zoom grief group. I did that for a year because there was no. They actually met in Venice in LA, but because of the shutdown, it was all online, and I was doing it every week. A Zoom with other suicide survivors, and that was really interesting because it actually helped me a lot. Because then I was like, oh, this is happening every day. People are going through this shit constantly.
Yeah.
And and then you hear how everyone's story and how they're coping with it and it kept me going. Okay, there's a way out of this. There's a way through this. And I don't know if you ever get out of it, but you move through it. You just keep going, right? Just keep going. What do you think too?
Hopefully for the better.
Yeah, I think so, man. Stick it out and somehow it gets better.
It's like about Sean now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I looked what your past away 2020.
Yeah.
That's not long ago at all.
I know. Yeah, it's already what?
I looked what year passed away. It was 2020.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that long ago at all.
I know. Yeah, it's already what? Almost now. January will be 6 years since Reiner. And Malone, you know, will be next December 6 years. I can't believe. Yeah, the time is so weird. Because it's so like you fall out of time calendar. You know what I mean? Especially when that shit first happens, it's like everything's like a weird void of emptiness. And it just feels like a movie. This is what's happening. But then I stopped taking it personally. I was like, this isn't. Because I had that survivor's guilt I was working through for a while where I was like, I'm not supposed to keep going. Like, this is not, I don't have the right to keep going. Like, we're all supposed to go now, you know?
Yeah, I was like, why mine? Yeah, how is it I think it worked out to where they're dead and I'm alive? Yeah, I was like, how is that? Like, luck? Well, but I don't even know what that is.
I know.
I think a lot of things, we've all done a lot of dumb shit, especially when we live our lives, and how am I still here? It's like, how? I don't know. Luck?
I know. Well, you just, unless you take your own life, like, you really die when you're supposed to die. So and it sounds horrible to say that and weirdly insensitive, but it's like, how do you argue with that? It's the way that you, sometimes it's a swift exit, sometimes like an accident, sometimes it's drawn out with illness, sometimes it, you know what I mean? Everyone's journey out is unique unless they take their own life. That's the only way you're gonna control that, right? It's like, yeah, it's wild. I mean, just thinking those thoughts is enough to keep you like realize how delicate this situation is. You're always on like, okay,
This is actually in a second, but like the past 24 hours, I was like, I thought it was, you know, in like a kind of a sick way, Paul was like, my life is so crazy because I'm about to hang out with Paul from Sam. I could have a sick conversation with a legend. And last night, this is standard California stuff. This is not like a big deal, but I almost got in a serious car wreck. And
last night?
Yeah, almost took somebody out. Well, they almost took me out. It's not like a big deal, but I almost got in a serious car wreck. And
last night?
Yeah, almost took somebody out. Well, they almost took me out. And I do kind of pinpoint meditation. I did meditate that day, and I think I made a split-second decision that prevented. I just made the right moves, and you know when someone is driving beside you and you can feel when they're going to move over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is, but the vibe. I felt the car is moving and they don't see me at all. I don't know what. I don't know how I moved the way
That's your sixth sense shit.
I don't know how I moved that the way I did, but everything I did was perfect. Everything I did was, and the funny part is, you know when like you almost get in a car wreck or like road rage, you want to like look at them.
Yeah.
And I took a quick gas. They were in their own world.
They didn't even know.
I don't think they even knew.
Fucking like
Literally, I almost T-boned them. Probably almost killed me and them. And they probably didn't even know. It's the way, like, if I didn't even honk my horn,
they had no idea that shit was about to fucking go down.
yeah, I had full control of the car. If I had like a split second, like, took my hand off the wheel and probably honked my horn in anger, I probably wouldn't have control.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like, no ego, just like controlling my car.
Yeah.
And I was like, going from that, and then today, Selena, the singer, her dad passed away today. And I got a text from my girlfriend. And I was like, damn, everyone's living such different lives. And Paul's about to walk in, we're about to have probably a sick conversation.
Yeah.
And this life is just so, everyone's living their own thing. It's like wild. It's so fucking wild, man.
You know, you're bringing it up, like you're making me remember. It's like those incidents where I'm like, I get pissed at. I haven't had a car in a while, but like where I had a moment where I'm like, this person, the way they're driving, and then you pull up and it's somebody I hate that fucking driving like a little old lady.
Really, yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
stop, Paul. You know,
yeah,
like they're fucking.
It's not worth it.
You have no idea.
It's not worth it, man.
Yeah, and I actually had a moment, I remember years ago, with Sean in Echo Park, in this area of LA, and we lived in his house together, and I remember we were right across from Echo Park Lake, and I was going out to just, I don't know, one of the freeway right there, and these ducks were crossing the road with like a mama duck with little duck wings and shit, and so I really braked fast and we went over a fucking duck, and with some car behind me didn't see what was happening, and was really impatient, like, why the fuck did you stop on this like freeway part? And he starts like honking, and I was just like, here I'm like thinking these ducks, I'm like, man. So I was just like, and he just kept fucking being aggro.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this fucker. So I fucking went, fuck you,
yeah.
fucking. And he fucking
finger.
And he
Clapping
fucking
finger.
goes up, blocks my car, comes out with a fucking pistol.
No.
He's a fucking heavy hardcore gang.
Oh no.
Fucking with you. Oh yeah. And he said, get the fuck out of the car. And I was like shaking at that point. I knew he wanted to fucking kill me. And I was like, I'm not getting out of the car, brother. He's like, get the fuck out of the car. And I was like, dude, there was fucking ducks. He's like, come on. He's like, I'm not your brother, man. I'm like, no, man, I'm not doing this. Come on, I'm sorry. I humbled. I was like scared. I was fucking shaking. The motherfucker on the shoot. I never fucking fucked with anybody on the road after that. And I was like, you don't know what you're dealing with.
No.
You don't know what people are going through. Let them cut you off. Let them fucking
Let him. More like just let him.
do not fuck with that shit. You know.
No idea what the hell is in the car, dude.
You don't know, man. And some people are carrying this shit like that. It's scary. I remember I was shaking. I was like after that incident, because he eventually backed off. But I talked him down. It was like I had to like find my way to navigate, because he wanted to throw down. He was ready to fucking.
Just barely hanging on to his own life. And when you were hanging out,
I was the object. Yeah, exactly. I was the perfect person to project all rage onto. Yeah.
But I felt it coming, it was about to come out.
I know, man. I think that's why we have these things.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just fucking take everything out into this fucking piece of wood with strings on it.
Yeah.
Paul, when did you just switching quickly? When did you know? When did you and Sean know that you were gonna try focus? Were you on tour with Deb at that point in Europe?
Yeah, we actually, when we were touring Healing, So we signed up one of the years before Focus happened. It was like kind of right around the death stuff was happening, and so it was just like we were, Sync was like the biggest underground band at that time. We had a buzzing demo, and we were some of the guys.
The hot demo.
Hot demo. It was a '91, and it's
hot beat.
Yeah. But there was just like we were in the scene. We were being around the scene. We were trading tapes. We had friends everywhere. And suddenly, like, we all did what no one did back then. Sean and I had already been playing with Death, but like now we're making a record with Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Our bass players with Pestilence and Atheist. Our other guitarist was with Monstrosity, who was also so we were all like these guys loaning our services for other bands. And it's like, what band are they in? And that's how people found out about us, really. It was like because of all the other bands that had shit going on. But yeah, so we were supposed to make the album, and then, yes.
Yeah, because the start of your record is crazy. Didn't you come home and try to do the record, and then I haven't heard anyone refer to a hurricane as a blessing, but didn't Hurricane Andrews come swipe out all of it?
So decimated my man. It was like a fucking bomb was set off in that city. The shit was legendary. Hurricane Andrews 1992. There's footage of that shit online.
What's footage of it?
Oh yeah. It's like, I mean, it literally was fucking insane. I mean, it was like fucking trees were flying by, houses destroyed. No, so we were supposed to make the record, or at least like finish writing it and go cut it. And we get back from the Human tour, and this hurricane hits, and fucking the city was destroyed. Our rehearsal room was destroyed. Our other guitar player Jason, his whole house was destroyed. The ceiling got ripped off his house. He lost everything.
I heard he was trying to hold the ceiling.
But yeah, they're literally holding it in the bathroom. The family's holding the fucking ceiling up. Yeah, he had a straight out of fucking movie experience. We were okay where we were because it didn't hit, as hard. That shit, yeah, that's what the city looked like right there, man. It was
wow.
It was next level. I mean, I don't know if they've had hurricanes like that since, but it was, the whole city was just destroyed. And so we basically, what happened, obviously, this is, 92? We were like, okay, I guess we're not making a record, but actually what was weird is that deck were imploded, like right at the end last for that album cycle that we done. And the promoter was so pissed that was supposed to, and the you're hostage. This is like, you haven't played these shows, you owe me money.
That's what happened. Like, why do you
Yeah, it was like, you guys got some shows to play, and we were like already everything imploded. The manager took off with the money, fucking we were stuck in Europe, we were like Chuck's fighting with everybody. I mean, it was just like a fucking chaos that was supposed to.
And he held your gear.
He held our gear hostage because he's like, you haven't played these shows, you owe me money.
Oh, that's what happened. I was like, why do you hold his gear?
Yeah, he was like, you guys got some shows to play, and we were like already everything imploded. The manager took off with the money, fucking we were stuck in Europe, we were like Chuck's fighting with everybody. I mean, it was just like a fucking chaos. And so next thing you know, we're like, I'm calling the promoter saying, hey, we're not like really in the band. That's not gear. Fucking give me our shit, And he actually was cool, and he sent us our stuff. He sent it back to like Chuck's warehouse in Orlando or some shit. And I remember that was the last time we'd seen Chuck, because we went there to get our gear. And he kind of missed there or whatever. But that was like the last moment. And then we get our gear, but then again, the rehearsal room was like, everything was destroyed. The city took a long time to recover from that, and it was, but again, it was a blessing because we just fucking got to work. We were in our bedrooms and fucking.
And you said like you spent a year working on your chops.
Yeah.
What were you working on?
Like, fucking new chords, harmony, fucking, they just like, our ears were just like hearing new sounds, all these breakthroughs happened,
Really?
Oh yeah, it was like suddenly the record was just like moving, and Roadrunner didn't know. They thought they were just getting this like cutting edge dual tech deck thing with these young guys. And meanwhile, like getting hit to vocoders and fucking, we're doing all these trippy jazzy clean parts, and like, everything was turning in the band. Because we were like listening to like shoegaze and everything but that. On that Human tour, I was just like deep into other shit, It was like, I think that was why we had such a unique perspective playing extreme metal, because we were listening to other other kinds of music. You know, our ears were referencing other styles, so we brought that into metal. But no, so all that time, you just flush out things. And I think we matured. You know, the songs got better.
Yeah.
It was like you start thinking about things in a different way. You know.
There it is. And the covers, it's like a trip, dude.
Oh, it is a fucking trip. So that's Robert Minosa. He's like a legend. I mean, that guy he basically was the beginning of like a kind of visionary art movement, you know, with